This interview was shot for the People's Podcast on Quake Media. For the full interview with Candace Owens, be sure and subscribe at quakemedia.com/Mike. Hello, everyone. This is Mike Huckabee with a special video edition of the People's Podcast. And when I say special, I really mean special, not just because we're doing a video version of this edition of People's Podcast, but because of my guest, very special friend, and a very special person who's got some guts when it comes to taking on the giants of our day. I welcome Candace Owens. Candace, it's great to have you here, and we've visited on many occasions, but delighted to have you on this video edition of the People's Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Let's jump into this because you have filed a lawsuit against USA Today and the so-called fact checkers of Facebook and other media platforms. What is going on? And boy, are we ever proud of you.
Thank you so much. So I launched a lawsuit and it was against Lead Stories, LLC, as well as USA Today. The background of the story is pretty straightforward. I had posted an article that was actually written by a doctor, Dr. John Lee, for the Spectator UK edition. He's a former NHS pathologist, well-credentialed, and he had basically written an article explaining to people that the COVID-19 death rates that we're looking at are disingenuous because they have implemented a system whereby they calculate COVID-19 deaths in a way that they had never calculated any deaths in the past, which is via a post-mortem analysis. So normally if you die of a heart attack, they don't test you for the flu, right?
Yeah.
If you get hit by a car, they don't test you for the flu when you're post-mortem. But they had implemented this system worldwide where they were testing people to see if they had the coronavirus, no matter how they died. So I thought the article was very interesting, and I shared it. And obviously this is a guy that has very good credentials, and Facebook censored it and pulled it down. And when they wrote a corresponding article of why this was not true, they essentially said that we found a doctor in Colorado who disagrees with your doctor in the UK. That's not a fact check, right?
Yeah.
My doctor is better than yours is not a fact check. So I wrote to them and I went through the appeals process, which is very lengthy. And essentially, the guy from Lead Stories came back to me and said, oh, well, too bad. I'm a tech censorship lord and you can't do anything about it. So I decided to look up who exactly Lead Stories is. Lead Stories LLC was created in 2016 by a man named Alan Duke, who left CNN after 26 years and started a fact-checking company. And within his first year of business, lo and behold, he gets a deal with Facebook. And I went, okay, we've got something here. Yeah. So I hired Todd McMurtry, who was one of the lawyers on the Covington Catholic case. And I said, I want to go after these guys. I want to go through discovery. I want to see what's really going on, because we know this isn't about fact-checking. This is about censoring wrongthink.
So, Candace, lawsuits are expensive. How can you fund the lawsuit? Because just going through the discovery process is extraordinarily costly. I'd love to go after some of these people myself, but every time I talk to a lawyer about it and they give me the price tag, I'm thinking, it would bankrupt me to do it. So how are you able to fund your lawsuit, and can people help you with it?
So it was a very stressful time, definitely for my husband, when I was like, we're going to do this and try to figure out how we're going to fund it later. Just to get the lawsuit filed in Delaware, it cost us about $60,000 just to file the lawsuit. And you want to get the best lawyers. So I said, let's put together a website after we filed this. And the website is www.factcheckzuck, like Mark Zuckerberg, factcheckzuck.com. And crowdfund as much as we can, and tons of people gave to the website all around the world, actually, to help bring down our legal costs. And that's the faith I always have in patriots around America. But it was interesting to see that we were getting so many emails from people in Australia. I mean, people, all throughout Europe saying, please, make it so that we can help donate to this, because we're being censored as well. So right now, what we're seeing, this tech censorship is not unique to America. It's worldwide. While we are seeing the suppression of voices via the idea of a concept of wrongthink. And I'm sure you saw yesterday, YouTube announced that they were going to pull down any video of any person that says anything against Joe Biden and doesn't acknowledge Joe Biden as the official president-elect. I mean, that's not freedom of speech. Even
No.
if I want to make a channel and I want to create an alternate reality, right? And I say like aliens are real and they're really cool and I'm hanging out with them today, I should have a right to do that in a free country. And so these are the questions that Americans are having to say when they ask, do we still live in a free country when we can no longer say what we think, if we can't put up something that maybe, even if it's absent facts, if I want to post 1 + 1 = 3, is it really the job of fact checkers to come in and to censor that information? Or is it the job of Americans to think through it and realize, you know what, maybe this is not the truth? We don't need the government thinking for us. And that I find to be very problematic down the line.
Yeah, Candace, I was talking to one of our production people here a moment ago, and we were talking about in the old days, we would see something that was ridiculous, and we just laughed at it. We didn't demand that somebody come in and censor it and take it off. We wanted it to stay on because it was entertainment value to watch something that was goofy. So if somebody thinks something is off the wall, leave it up. The rest of America is smart enough. They can discern whether it's legit. You mentioned about YouTube. Last weekend, we put up from my television show an interview that I did with Sidney Powell for the TBN show Huckabee. It had 500,000 views within just a few hours, and then abruptly, it just ceased. YouTube shut it down. Now, this is exactly what you are experiencing. I am concerned that you're a very public person. You have an enormous presence on variety of media platforms. Are you worried that because you're pushing back so hard, you're going to get targeted and they will do everything possible with their billions and billions of dollars to totally shut you down and make you disappear? Is that a worry?
It doesn't worry me. It excites me. I'm a fighter, so I wanted to go out on the front lines. I'm a frontline soldier, you know what I mean? And I see that this fight, and I see that there are so many Americans who don't have the platform, who don't have the following, as I do, right? So I feel that God has put me in this unique position where I have the platform, I have the following, and I can get in front of this and I can make a lot of noise. If someone else had filed a lawsuit against the fact checkers, it probably would have never even made it into the press. When I filed it, Facebook got completely concerned. They haven't been doing much censorship on my page since because we have a very solid case against them. And many other legal experts have waited and said this is going to present a problem for Facebook because I was able to show that they used that false rating to demonetize my platform, right? So it allows us to go after them. And I'm proud to be able to do that. I really do believe that, God picks his soldiers at the right time. I am a fighter. I love fighting. And I especially, because I know that we are on the side of truth and we are on the side of people that are trying to defend and fight this country to preserve the freedoms that we have been blessed by just by being born in this incredible country. And we have seen virtually all of those freedoms taken away within 1 year under the guise of a pandemic, right? And we know what this is all about. There's a reason this guy left CNN in 2016, right? When Donald J. Trump won and they felt they were no longer in control of the narrative. That's what I suspect Alan Duke did, right? And Facebook said, what are we going to do to prepare for the 2020 election? We're going to start saying that we're fact checking. No, what they're really going to do is they're going to start censoring anything that's in support of President Donald J. Trump, in support of conservative principles, in support of a narrative that they can't control. And that's what we're seeing. So it has to be someone. Why not me? Why not me at 9 months pregnant?
Well, I'm proud of you. This whole idea of fact checking, a lot of people are unaware that fact checking is a joke. There's no such thing as an objective fact checker. One of the things I'll never forget back in 2016 when I was in the campaign for president, the Washington Post gave me 4 Pinocchios, which is their highest level of saying something I said was not true. But here was the irony. What they fact-checked was a direct quote I had made from the Washington Post, their own newspaper. I quoted the Post, and the Post said that my quote of them was 4 Pinocchios false. I thought, boy, this is fact-checking at its best. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed that video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel below and hit the notification bell. And if you want to see the full interview with Candace Owens, be sure to subscribe to the People's Podcast at quakemedia.com/Mike.